What up, guys? Welcome to angelasavalon's YouTube channel. I'm Angela. Subscribe, do hit the like button, and do book a reading with me. I have a 50% sale going on, and you can have your reading as cheap as $10. So yeah, and if you did watch my other videos already, so you know, go pretty deep in my videos. I make multiple parts, and yeah, so I think I'm going to start promoting. I'm probably gonna be promoting this sale on the upcoming videos at the beginning. So this video is gonna be about Mars square Pluto natal chart. So I already made a video about the Mars-Pluto aspect, so if you wanna go watch that first, you can go do that. But either way, this is gonna be about the Mars square Pluto natal aspect, about the square specifically. So let's get to it. So Mars is the planet of aggression, or sense of vitality and action. It has to do with our physical body, the way we use our body. It has a lot to do with the way we walk, and with the way we move our bodies, and yeah, or basically also how we react when we are provoked. And Pluto is the planet that oh, by the way, if I haven't mentioned, Mars is a fiery planet, right? Well, I think I'm kind of obvious because I said it rules aggression and war and everything. Well, anyways, it's a fire planet. It rules war and aggression and everything that has to do with fighting as well. And Pluto is a pretty dark outer planet. It's a generational planet. It's a planet that rules death, sex, death and rebirth, you know, emotional transformation, and it basically has everything to do with chaos and trauma. So when you combine that with a square here with Mars, it's gonna make for someone who has well, first of all, they're gonna have a pretty short temper. You know, it can make for someone who has like a deadly short temper, you know what I mean? It can make for some violent impulses. You know, men and women, it really doesn't matter. It can make for some pretty violent person, and if they're not actually violent, then they're definitely, you best believe they're thinking violent thoughts. But most likely, at least multiple times throughout their life, they definitely are gonna act on those impulses because it's Mars here. It's not Mercury, and it's the mind. It's Mars. It's the body. It's the physical body, the instincts, the impulses. They're definitely gonna get physical in some way, shape, or form. Like one example could be like if a woman gets pissed off by her boyfriend or something, she might like kick out her, let's say the boyfriend is in her house, she might kick him out and humiliate him somehow, you know, show the middle finger or start cursing him, you know, be all masculine. I'm not going to lie, this is definitely the aspect that can make a woman act like a man, if you will, but like in a bad way. I mean, I don't mean like a woman who's comfortable and both be masculine and feminine, like no, in a bad way. Like she can get violent like a man only a man would still biologically be stronger. But you know what I mean, right? She might get those, yeah, she might snap, she might, like the ugly side of masculinity, she might possess those traits. You know what? There's actually, I don't know, whatever, I'm not going to go in there. Like I don't want to mention like famous people because I'm already thinking of doing like a separate reading on like a famous on a certain famous figure. And I actually have a quiz on my channel for you guys, so that you can vote which, like I have four options of famous people that you can vote which one of them I should do reading about. So go vote if you haven't yet, but whatever. Anyways, with all that being said, let's continue. So yeah, Mars-Pluto individuals, they can actually, this is the aspect that you want to look for if you want to see what what can make someone unhinged. You know that movie Misery with Kathy Bates? That's a Mars-Pluto individual, like her character. That's how unhinged they can go, like her temper, her psychoticness, and yeah. So yeah, it can get nasty. I mean, yeah, obviously not all, but obviously the majority of Mars-Pluto people will not, necessarily be that psychotic, but it is this character of Kathy Bates in Misery is a good candidate for a Mars-Pluto aspect. But forgive me guys if I look a little tired or something. I'm like in bed. You can see in my orb, and I don't know, I felt inspired to make a video, but at the same time I've been standing for the majority of the day, and I felt like I needed to lie down, so this is one of those videos. I usually stand in most of my videos. I think it's pretty much all of them, but yeah, yeah, I was also thinking about doing a video earlier, but whatever, anyways. But yeah, your girl is doing it now, okay? So yeah, so Mars-Pluto people, I actually know, personally speaking, I actually know, I want to say, I think my dad has it, of the people I know personally. I think my dad has it, and I think someone else, but I can't remember who that was. My mom has the conjunction. Well, anyways, it's irrelevant. But see, it's like, it really also, I mean, this aspect can be deadly regardless, right? But it really also, I mean, you want to see how Mars is placed, because like my dad has Mars in Cancer, conjunction Jupiter, square in Pluto, so it's like he has that Jupiter in there to balance things out. So you do want to look at the rest of the chart, and how, especially Mars. But I want to say that it's really depending on the rest of the chart, like Moon and Venus. It might not make too much of a difference, because it's like, okay, so what I mean, you guys, if you're not as seasoned in astrology, what I mean is, that it's like a very dominant aspect, like a deadly aspect. It's like if you, this is like a very predominant aspect, you know, like having this aspect, a Mars square Pluto in a natal chart, already going to this to dominate. So it's I don't know, it's interesting, and like I did, like I mentioned, in my Mars Pluto aspect, they can get, you know, physically violent. They'll be tempted to hit their own kids, you know, men and women. Both men and women would get eventually, at least at some points in their life, physically violent. You know, this is the kind of aspects that can make someone do time. It's like a villain aspect as well. Like if you know all these villain characters in movies like Misery, like Kathy Bates, like I mentioned. This is a Mars Pluto people. I'm telling you, this is, now obviously not everybody with this aspect is gonna be a villain, right? You know, but what I'm saying is that the possibility of becoming a villain always going to be there if you have this aspect, or if you have like a, you know, like a Moon Pluto aspect, like the harsh ones. You know, Pluto aspecting harshly, you know, squaring either the Moon or Mars is always going to tempt someone to become a villain, even if they won't or don't, you know. It's, you know, that's why these people can have a knack. Well, it's mostly like Moon and Mercury, but you know, but even with Mars here, you know, especially if they have auto Pluto influence in their chart, this can make for someone who is pretty keen at criminology, pretty much naturally. Like these people organically might have a natural understanding of criminology, only because they might actually struggle with violent impulses themselves, you know. It's also because it's very vengeful, so they might also struggle with vindictive impulses as well, vindictive fantasies. Vendetta plays a strong role here with this aspect. And also, you know, this is the aspect that is gonna make a woman be either into or tempted to get into witchcraft. This is, if you're looking for an aspect to make someone a witch, or that makes someone a witch, and practice all of, you know, witchcraft, tarot reading, you know, black, you know, magic, what, you know, all of that witchcrafty business, you wanna look if she has a Mars Pluto aspect, or a Moon Pluto could also do that. There are similar themes here with the Moon Pluto and the Mars Pluto aspects. I have a Moon Pluto aspect, so I'm personally know what I'm talking about, you know. You know, combining my own aspect with my seasoned knowledge in astrology, I can guarantee that having either a moon, having that certain Mars Pluto, that certain elements that come with this Mars Pluto aspect, with this square, or with the Mars Pluto aspects, are gonna be pretty much equivalent as to a moon, to a person with the Moon Pluto aspect. You know, the opposition, square, conjunction, right? I'm not talking about these aspects. But yeah, they're gonna have things in common, like the witchcraft thing. Either Moon Pluto or Mars Pluto aspects are the ones to look for if you're looking for someone. If you're looking for an indication that someone might be into that, like a woman that is a witch, look for those aspects, guaranteed. guaranteed. Yeah, so, and also, just like with the moon, and I'll make a separate video about the moon Pluto aspect, a moon square Pluto, and the opposition conjunction. But yeah, I'll make a separate video of that. But and with that being said, Mars-Pluto people, this is definitely also an aspect that can indicate that someone could have been physically abused in the household, like as a child or as a teenager, during their time growing up in the household. It can definitely, this aspect can definitely indicate an abusive household and domestic abuse, and that's why these people can be prone to violence or domestic abuse themselves, because they suffered domestic abuse when they were kids, kids, teens, right? And even young adults sometimes, if they were like, and if in the early 20s they were still lived with their parents or one of the parents, or and they could have still been going through that, it's not just necessarily kids, but it could have started in childhood and continued on until they moved out or something like that. And that's why they might struggle with that, with those impulses, and be violent to themselves, especially because they need to heal those old wounds of theirs, So I would definitely recommend therapy. If you have this aspect, please do yourself a favor and go to therapy. At least so you won't have to hurt yourself or people around you in the process. Because it's a very self-destructive energy here. These people can be self-destructive. Also, speaking of destruction, these people could be into drugs, substance abuse, alcohol, even like homelessness. It could go that way, I'm telling you, this aspect, you really want to get yourself some help with this aspect. I don't know, somehow. Even online help, could be a start, Yeah. Yeah, so what else? I think I said it all. I think all I had to say about this aspect. Yeah, maybe I'll do the one for Sinistry next. Oh, also another element is that these people can struggle with I mean that these people could have struggled with like maybe they've been through some sort of SA right, you know what I mean? I'm using codes here on YouTube. They could have gone through SA during childhood, SA trauma, or something of that sort. Oh, yeah, like something like maybe like it could be as intense as a grape, I'm using quotes here, but I think you guys know what I mean. So they might have been raped, maybe. By the way, it's men and women. Like this kid, I'm telling you, this man and woman with this aspect. But maybe the likelihood, maybe more if it's a woman. But honestly, I won't be surprised if I see a man with this aspect and he's been through that as well. But yeah. Oh, and they can be into, because Mars has to do with our sex life. So these people can be really into kink, or even it could go as far as like being into like dungeons and, stuff like that. Like this, Or if they're not practicing it, they definitely like to watch adult movies about it. Or like dark cosplay might be the thing, or going to parties, kink parties, sex parties might be the thing. Sex parties with like a certain like dark theme, like a gothic theme might be the thing. If it's very kink, it's very kink. This is definitely a placement, if you want to look out for like a kinky person, this definitely would be it. It can, they might also be into like, it can get like, this can be some, it's like, it depends on everything on the rest of the chat, but, these people might, like it rough, you know what I mean? Like, it also gives me that. It can get very, and also domineering, it could be like men and women in this aspect, if they might be into this dom sub, it's a very like dominatrix placement, if a woman has this, she might either be, she will be into this doms BDSM dom sub, and she, with the Mars-Pluto, I want to say that the likelihood of her being a dominatrix is higher than her being this, because it's a very domineering aspect. So it's an aspect, it could definitely make someone either a dominatrix or a dom. It's a very dom aspect. Yeah, it's a very femme fatale aspect too, you know what I mean? These people really know to seduce, and actually, you know what, they actually might use it for the benefit. Like, these people might use their sexual aura, their fertility for the benefit. They might really, really seduce you, either out of your pocket or out of your assets, because Pluto rules the assets and money of other people. So be careful, you guys, because some Mars-Pluto people out there will do that, and no remorse whatsoever, because they don't do remorse. This is a very merciless aspect. So yeah, there's that. So with all that being said, subscribe, do hit the like button, and leave a comment down below, okay? I really like reading your comments, you guys. So leave a comment down below, give me your feedback, tell me if this resonated, and please tell me what kinds of videos would you like me to make, because you guys barely ever say it. So please do that, and do book a reading with me. My readings are as cheap as $10, and could go even cheaper if you email me. My email is down below. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.